Hello, hello. Well, hey Daisy, I just want to commend you on getting your draft in. I want to maybe go over some of the technical things that would make your life easier using Photoshop, so I won't necessarily be talking about design, colors, or anything. It's just the technical things or the tools in Photoshop that could make your life a little easier. So here I have your original spread on the left, and I've since made a copy of your spread on the right. One of the things that I noticed was that it's super cool that you use these 3 columns of text boxes, but you use a lot of entering to sort of split up the text. So what I want to teach you is that if I just make a text box here, and then I'm just going to paste in Nicole's piece, and I'm going to press I to make sure that it's within the same style as before. Is that something that's cool is that what you can do is that you can actually make multiple text boxes in the sort of rows, right? So it's not just constrained to columns, but in rows as well. So this just makes it so that you don't have to figure around with all the spacing or enters. It's just everything's in one text box, and you can have multiple rows and columns to adjust your needs, like so. And I'm just gonna sort of just do a quick insertion into your original design, like so. So this can go here. And this can go here. You can still see some of the spacing needs a bit of tuning, but right, it's all one text box, and you can see again the whole entire lesson is that you can do rows and columns. So again, I'll just do it one more time, right? I can have a small text box here. I'm gonna paste in the whole sort of story of Nicole had, click the text box, and click again, and you can have rows and columns in text boxes. You don't have to just be constrained to making columns of text boxes. All right, super cool. Next thing that you can work on, I'm gonna use the command ctrl+3, pardon. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go here and actually select all the text boxes. So I'm doing a shift click of all the different text boxes. And I'm gonna use the command ctrl+3 to hide them all. And this is just a little shortcut I wanna teach you just so it's a little easier to manage your documents. It's the shortcut for turning off the visibility. Next thing I want you to try to do is using groups. So it's a little bit interesting that you had 3 separate elements for the pull quotes. I do like the design, but we can press Ctrl+G to group the elements, and that just means that all 3 elements are going to be moving with one another. So again, that's Ctrl+G for group, like so. Ooh, interesting. Seems like this text box is a little bit big, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm not selecting anything that I don't want to be grouped. But then again, that sort of just cleans up the selection of everything. So I'm gonna scroll through my tree, and I am then gonna open up all the text again. And again, for this, I can also group up everything just to make it a little cleaner. All right, so we covered text boxes, and then we also covered grouping. So that's just to make your life a little bit easier, so you don't have to finicker around with all sorts of different spacing by physically entering the with the enter key. And then the final thing that I want to go is about clipping mask. So it seems like you did a crop image up here, which is not terribly not wrong, but it's a little difficult to edit after you've cropped your image. So what I want to teach you is a clipping mask. So if I just drag the image out that you have, I imported Cynthia's image again into here. I just put it there, and then what I'm gonna do is use M for the rectangle tool and just block out where I want that image to go. So then when I V for direct or selection tool and I shift click the image and the rectangle, I can make a clipping mask. So that's right click, make a clipping mask, and the clipping mask moves here, right? It's pretty much effectively cropped the image, but if I double click the image to resize it, you can see that it stays within the clipping mask. And I can, of course, send it to back, so that's Control Shift and then the curly bracket. So then I send it all the way down in our layer tree. So this just means that if I want to remove the image within the clipping mask, I'm able to move it and it maintains its crop without having to finick around with the edges.